Chase Lee Hockey with the Blue Futon. Out of the digital world, I saw Super Deluxe. Why is this movie called Super Deluxe? So Super Deluxe, what's it about? You could call it a very simple premise, kind of like Crash, the Oscar winner, like 2009 or 2005 in that timeline or whatever. But this is 3 different storylines and how they connect. We have a Weekend at Bernie's kind of storyline, we have a transgender storyline, and we have a porn storyline. And all of them connect with mobsters, gangsters, cops, etc., different people in this time period. So did I like this movie? This is not a movie for me. 3 hours, and this shouldn't have been a 3-hour movie for what we were trying to get on the screen. So with that, I will give the positives of the movie first. The acting in this movie is very good. All the actors involved are pretty solid. Some of the kid actors with the porn storyline was a little bit bombastic or a little just over the top, where I was like, okay, I don't know what we're trying to do here. But with that, there was some good acting involved. The environment looked good, and what they're trying to do is some of the stories were very interesting. To me, the Weekend at Bernie's storyline was the most interesting out of the 3. The transgender storyline was okay. I understand what they're trying to go with there about the whole acceptance in part of India and everything like that. And then the whole porn storyline just felt a little bit weird of what these kids are trying to do and how they connected. But other than those positives of how it looks, how it was directed on some levels, and just, I enjoyed some of the storyline. To me, this just doesn't cohesively connect at all, I think, as what the storyteller wanted to say. So then going with the negatives, like I said in the beginning, this is a 3-hour movie. This did not need to be 3 hours. Yes, I understand what they're trying to do with the storyline of having 3 different stories and how they connect, but the connection at the very end just doesn't work, in my opinion. Yeah, there's a tsunami connection, and then there's a TV connection, and there's like those different little connections of like a cop connection, but they're not like grandiose where you're like, oh, that's how they connect. Yeah, this is 3 different stories, and they don't really like intertwine as well as I thought, or I think they should have. Like I said, I like the Weekend at Bernie's storyline. That is a very good story. And that's the other thing with the storylines. I think these would be better one-off movies of like doing a movie about the porn thing and fleshing out a little bit more, making it an hour-and-a-half movie. The Weekend at Bernie's, an hour-and-a-half movie. And then the transgender one, making an hour-and-a-half movie. And then at the very end of each one, connect them in a different sort of way, if you want to put it that way. But putting this in a 3-hour movie and trying to do little things and like little things here and there sprinkled around, to me, it just wasn't cohesive enough, and I really didn't enjoy what I was watching on screen. I think that is the biggest fault of this movie, is just the length, and these stories just don't go anywhere sometimes. You're just like, okay, what are we trying to prove here? Yeah, there's this one about the tsunami and the rock and the statue of trying to get money for someone who got stabbed. And the confrontations are the reason why some of these people are put in these situations are extremely weak. Like the porn one, I was like, really? Did that really have to go in that direction for like the screwdriver? Like, is that really that realistic of doing something like that? As well as, I think the Weekend at Bernie's one is the most cohesive story in this one, where I understand what was going on, understand what the scenario was, but I was still a little off about how this inspector has this video or knew everything was happening. Like maybe he was following this Jeep, but how would he have known that this person was dead because of the Weekend at Bernie's thing? Like that didn't really make any sense. And the transgender storyline, it was just hopping around everywhere. Like it was just going everywhere, like the preacher or the pastor, and then like the police station, and then the kid getting lost. It was just like, it was jumbling. I was just like, okay, what are we trying to get at? Yeah, I understand that whole storyline was the acceptance of that, the school, and using the word it and everything like that. And then the whole messaging of the movie and the dialogue of that storyline, I just didn't like at all either, just because it was just felt forced. A lot of that storyline was extremely forced, and I know what they're trying to do with a message is that one, but it's like, yo, just wasn't the biggest fan of that type of storyline. Like I said, the same with the porn one. A lot of it was forced. It was just like, it feels like this whole movie was out about putting a complete message. And then you could say the same thing about the Weekend at Bernie's one, with the actor wanting to have some political messages. So it was a very political message for India and everything going on in there. Did I connect with some of it? Yes. But overall, it was just a movie where I was like, okay, too much is going on. This does not need to be 3 hours. Why is there 3 different storylines? I need some connection with why we're choosing these 3. But like I said, the only reason they're choosing the 3 is to have a message, a political satire message, in my opinion. So I'm back with a new shirt because I watched this and I realized I forgot a negative of the movie. What the F is with the alien? Am I missing something? Did this director do something in the past? Something to do with an alien? What was that? And when rethinking about the alien, I was like, do I take this down another 10 points? Because I remember that scene with the plastic bags. I'm like, okay, this is going way too much in a weird territory. I don't understand what they're trying to portray at all. But I'm going to keep my score, which you'll know in a couple of seconds, because that scene, maybe I'm just missing something. I can't fault for something that I just don't know. So overall, Super Deluxe, it works as a movie with some good points, some good acting, good directing, and some good dialogue pieces. But then on the back end, it did not need to be 3 hours. It was dragging on some of the pacing, some of the stories. It was just like, okay, why is this in here? And I think it would have been better if you made 3 different movies and somehow connect it. Kind of like what they're doing with Vic Ram, right? So if they're doing it with that one, this one I think would have been a little bit more cohesive and a little bit better watch. But as it is, it's hard for me to recommend Super Deluxe. So Super Deluxe will receive a 2.5 out of 5 with Futons. It goes at 50%. So yeah, I might be in the minority of this one, but to me, the length made it boring on some levels, and I just wish it was a little bit more cohesive and maybe just different. Because like I said, how they connected, like I said, with the TV falling from the sky, I don't know how that actually, it doesn't even look like they're in the same area. But anyway, let's see what the critics' review scores give this one. So critics, we are at 80% with 5 reviews, and the audience score 92% with over 100 with no critic consensus. Yeah, so maybe I'm in the wrong with this one of what my personal opinion is, but I'll say it again. It would have been better if we had more cohesive story with some of these people and just the length. It did not need to be 3 hours. It was just like, okay, what is the point here? Let's get going. So my 50, the 80, or the 92. Chase Luck with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of moving on Utopia. You Blue Tony's. Thanks for watching and have a great day. And like I said, maybe this is more like an India movie with their social, political, economic things happening in their country. But for me, like the porn, it was like that's a little overacting, a little overreaction of what you're trying to do there. But yeah, it's a movie. Let's see what's next.